Many thanks for staying with us. I am Justin Akadonye. Now, President Muhammadu Buhari has strongly condemned Thursday's massacre of innocent persons in Birani village, Zoromi local government area of Zamfara state. A statement from Malam Shehu Garba, SSA to the President on Media and Publicity, said the President commiserates with families of victims of the heinous and inhuman attacks on defenseless citizens, which left many injured. President Buhari directs the Minister of Defense, Brigadier General Mansour Danali, retired, to proceed immediately to the state to undertake an on-the-spot assessment of the situation and report back. In addition, he was directed security agencies to immediately mobilize and deploy their members to the vulnerable areas of the state and ensure that the perpetrators are brought to face the full wrath of the law. The President assures the Zamfara state government, victims of the mayhem, and residents in the state that the federal government will continue to do all it takes to support security agencies to secure lives and property, not only in the affected state, but all parts of the country. Moving on here in Lagos and still talking security and crime. The Lagos Police Command says it will not relent in its efforts to rid the state of crime. Commissioner of Police Edgar Imohimi gave the assurance on Friday while parading crime suspect. The Lagos police boss confirmed the arrest of one Adeola Williams, popularly called Ade Lawyer, for murder, as well as his financier, Rafiu Akoni, who is a former chairman of the National Union of Road Transport Workers, NURTW. Imohimi disclosed that Ade Lawyer succeeded in killing one Ganiu Ayla, an NURT member, but missed out on his prime target, Ade Kunle Lawal, who is a branch chairman of the union, a development which led to friction between the two conspirators.
He said Ade Lawyer went back to Olohunwa Akani for balance payment, having received an initial sum of 500,000 naira out of the agreed amount of 1.5 million naira. The said Olohunwa Akani refused to pay him the balance on the grounds that he did not hit the target. This infuriated Ade Lawyer, who then seized one Hyundai Santa Fe Jeep with reg number EKY741DL, belonging to the said Olohunwa Akani, in lieu of the balance of 1 million naira that was denied him.
The suspect, however, gave conflicting accounts.
When we are on our way to Ede, he said he's going with me to Ede. Then he now has an accident at Redeem. He started sending a message to me, threatening message. The message is still on my phone. That if I fail to do anything, he's going to kill me, kill my people. Hello, excuse me. It seems you don't know this guy. He's a deadly person. Everybody fear him. Everybody fear him. If he promises you that he's going to do something for me, he's going to do it.
And I collect the 500,000 before we carry on the operation. And when we reach there, we miss the target of Kunle Poli. We now hit his own PA. And I call him with my own private number. He now told to me that for now, you don't want to talk to anybody. I said, why? It has happened, it has nothing. Why are you doing like you are a man? What of us that we sent to go and do this thing? And I said, for now, you don't have money. You don't have money, okay? You pay us the 1 million that is with you. He said, you now promise me since that time.
Items recovered from the suspect include an AK-47 rifle, 2 empty magazines, and 1 SUV. The police promised that upon completion of investigations, all suspects will be charged to court. We're still on police matters. We'll move on next to Kwara State. Now, the Kwara Police Command has arrested and paraded 25 suspects for kidnapping and armed robbery. Addressing journalists after the parade, the State Commissioner of Police, Lawan Ado, noted that the 6 kidnappers and cattle rustlers killed a policeman in an attempt to arrest the gang. Lawan Ado said 19 suspects were arrested from different locations in Ilorin for armed robbery, house burglary, and car theft. Another set of 6 kidnappers were arrested based on intelligence shared with the counterparts from Niger State and movement of 233 cattle from Kwara State. Attempts to arrest the gang resulted in an exchange of fire which led to the death of a policeman.
With 6 live ammunition, 233 cows. Based on the intelligence shared with Mokwa Police Station in Niger State Command on the movement of some cattle rustlers and kidnappers escaping from Kwara State by Kwara State Police Command SAS operatives, on 25/12/2017, the above-named suspects were arrested and transferred to Kwara for discreet investigation.
In an interview, a member of the gang that killed the policeman claimed innocence, saying that it was the leader of the gang on the run that carried out the killing. The CP appealed to the public to continue sharing information with the police to ensure that crimes are reduced to the barest minimum.
A lot of questions has been asked, and we have been telling people to be security conscious, to be able to take mental note of most of the things around them, and to be suspicious of anything that they noticed within their area, be it any item that they don't understand or any group of people. And that is why we said intelligence driven. We need an intelligence driven police service.
In other news, moving away from the police matters, we'll go to Oyo State now, where the Chief Judge of the state, Justice Munta Bimbole, has reassigned the case filed by the Olubadan of Ibadan, Obasaliu Adetunji, against the review of the Ibadan chieftaincy laws by Governor Abiola Ajimobi to another judge. Governor Ajimobi had, at the last hearing of the case before Justice Olajumoke Aiki of Court 10, sought for the transfer of the case to another judge based on a judgment delivered by the presiding judge on a similar case. The case has been transferred to Court 8 of the State High Court before Justice Ogungbola, who will now start the case afresh. The case, which was supposed to be mentioned on Friday morning, could not hold due to some unforeseen circumstances and has been adjourned till April the 3rd this year. Now, some of the counsels who were in court confirmed the transfer of the case and expressed confidence in the ability of Justice Adigbola to dispense justice on the matter. And straight now to Ogun State, where the state government says it will address the challenge of the farmers-herdsmen clashes, which occur mostly in Yewan North area of the state, by strengthening the anti-land grabbing law. Now, Secretary to the State Government, Barrister Taiwo Adeoluwa, stated this after the State Executive Council held a security meeting with service chiefs. Adeoluwa said the challenge of farmers-herdsmen clashes had become a national issue, and Ogun State was not isolated from the clashes. While reviewing the security situation in the state, Adeoluwa said there had been huge reductions in violent crimes such as armed robbery, kidnapping, and cultism. He added that the council had ordered the ballers to conduct headcount in their various communities in order to capture residents and new entrants.
Combination of tools. The two of them we have identified here. We shall strengthen our conflict and business resolution committee. We will strengthen the machinery to see that they are able to reach even more communities, local governments.
You're still watching the news coming to you from Galaxy Television. Still ahead, Nigeria Communications Commission to establish data banks in Oyo institutions. Details when Galaxy News returns. Do join us again. Straight now to Oyo State and talking communications. The Nigerian Communications Commission has declared its readiness to establish data bank for technical university and other institutions in the state. NC6 Executive Commissioner Dr. Sunday Dari, while speaking during a courtesy visit to Governor Abiola Ajimobi, said the project would connect all tertiary institutions in the state for the benefit of all.
We received the letter from the Vice Chancellor. We are processing it. The NCC is committed to establishing a data bank that is in process right now to also provide other fiber optic and Wi-Fi connections needed by Technical University. And that will link the university with polytechnic and other educational institutions such that they can access educational information.
Now, Dr. Dari, who is the representative of the Southwest region of Nigeria on the Governing Board of the Commission, revealed that the report released by NCC in November 2017 placed the state third in terms of revenue generation and average user rate. Responding, Governor Abiola Ajimobi said his administration was much committed to repositioning the state in a modern highway to ensure it becomes the technological hub of Nigeria.
Ensure that we now reposition Oyo State in the modern highway to ensure that Oyo State becomes the technical hub, the technological hub of Nigeria. Hence, we decided to establish necessary infrastructure to achieve this goal.
We're still talking technology this time around from Ondo State, where the government says it will establish 2 more tech hubs in addition to the one to be commissioned next in Akure. While briefing newsmen on the 4th anniversary of Rotimi Akeredolu's administration, the Commissioner for Finance, who doubles as the chairman of the Anniversary Planning Committee, Wale Akintenwa, said the creation of tech hub in each senatorial district of the state is to advance technology base of the people.
Whether it's a federal institution, the key thing is that we are advancing the course of technology in Ondo State. The people who will be using this facility, some of them will be indigenous and people who are resident here, and some will not. So the bottom line is that the cost of our technology is being, the frontiers of technology is being advanced by this government.
The commissioner says despite paucity of funds, about 26 roads have been constructed and are ready to be commissioned from next week to mark the anniversary.
As we speak, some of those roads are still being worked on, but by this weekend they will be fully completed. I may not be able to give you off the cuff here the total kilometerage of all the roads, because there are about 26 road projects that will be commissioned all across the state.
Moving away from all of that, in other news, moving central north, Benue State University Makurdi has been shut down following student protest over management decision to suspend the semester examinations midway. The students who were angered by the decision took to the street with placards to express their grievances, to pressure the management to revert to status quo so that they can conclude their exams. Now, some of the students who spoke to newsmen said the situation is worrisome as they were asked to pay school fees before they are allowed to write exams.
The school management said no school fees, no exam, and most of the students here, they've not paid their school fees. So they said, the school management said they should close down. The schools students are angry and they say they should close down.
I seriously don't know who to blame here. I think there should be a synergy among the two. There should be, I think I'll attribute to the breakdown of information. There should be a kind of communication between the state government, the university authorities, and then the all departments.
Vice-Chancellor Professor Moses Mso Kembe said over 7,000 students were yet to register, and it was management's decision to review the situation with the arrest of a suspected hoodlum in the hostel, which gave rise to the suspension.
And so I felt that it was going too far because, Maguri to Bogo, there is a major highway, and for students to come out from the campus and block the highway was not just enough. So I directed that management should met quickly and took a decision that we suspend the exam that is ongoing for a little while to review the situation and maybe ask students to continue with the exams. Because it's not proper for students in exam situation to remain in that situation. They may do things that are not really palatable.
The State Police Commissioner Fatai Owosheni, however, warned the parents of the student and guidance to speak to them.
On any destruction, they are destroying the infrastructure that has been provided for them for learning. It's their parent that will still pay for it. So when situations like this happen, it is to put your grievances forward and let us see how that can be solved.
The Vice-Chancellor, who described Friday's protest as unfortunate, said the school has been closed down for 1 week to review activities before it will be open for academic activities. We're still talking protests from Delta State now. Women from Jedo community in Warisa's local government area of Delta have taken to the street in protest over what they describe as unfulfilled promises by the Nigerian gas company, NGC. This is coming more than 1 month after a gas explosion at neighboring Igbokodo community affected Jedo and other communities. The protesters who thronged the street carrying placards with different inscriptions and singing solidarity songs marched to the homes of the community leaders who expressed displeasure over the company's neglect.
That happened, it destroyed a lot of things in our river, it destroyed a lot of things in our community. Some houses in the community, because of the vibration, some of the houses were cracked, and the river, the air was polluted by the gas. People are now falling into sickness.
The government should put their materials in order, and they should give some compensation to the community.
The effect of the explosion, which resulted in cracked houses and polluted fish ponds belonging to the women in the community, resulted in a legal threat by the community president.
Them to look at this issue. Otherwise, protests and what we call legal action will be taken against all this community one after another. It will come to a stage we will block our way. They can no longer access other communities. Yes.
You're watching Galaxy Television News. CSOs tax youth on active political participation. Details in a moment. Stay with us. Welcome back and straight now to Abuja. Not just exactly 1 year to the 2019 general election, a coalition of civil society organizations has embarked upon aggressive voter education to ensure more citizens' participation in the electoral process. At the rally organized on Friday, the organizations lament lack of interest and voter apathy among Nigerian voters, saying everyone needs to participate to avoid a blame game when a wrong candidate is elected. According to the convener of the rally, Deji Adeyonju, Nigerians need to show interest and get captured in the voters' register if their voice must be heard. Adeyonju said although Nigeria needs a good leader that will take it to the promised land, yet those seeking political offices must be voted by majority of the people.
It's just to tell fellow young Nigerians and even the old ones that their interest in voting is tied to almost everything that they need as citizens of the country, whether it be good hospitals, good roads, good schools, you know, whether they want to have more jobs, you know, they want the economy to improve, then they must show interest in the electoral process, in voting, in ensuring that also their vote counts. And also we are highlighting the fact that there is close to 10 million uncollected PVC at INEC. You know, and INEC has been begging Nigerians to come and collect it, and we are appealing to fellow young Nigerians who have never registered to vote, who are just attaining the voting age, through this exercise that they should go and get the PVC.
Speakers at the peaceful rally said their sit-out was to sensitize more youth to get their voters' cards as the only way to express the civic responsibility of electing new leaders come 2019.
As citizens of Nigeria, to say that without election there is no democracy, and for us to participate in electioneering we need to get our PVC, we need to support INEC in the process, and of course we all need to understand that for us to get good governance, and good governance entail good access road, good healthcare, good education. In the eyes of the PVC we are all equal, and in that equality we have to come out and ensure that we contribute to Nigeria's democracy.
People take part in the electoral process. It is a civic duty that every Nigerian that is 18 and above must take part in. The apathy that a lot of people have had over the years, which makes them not to take part in the election, it is time that we do away with it. It is time we throw it away and ensure that we come out, pick up our PVCs, register to vote, and go out there to vote credible candidates who are competent, who have capacity, and they have character.
All right, staying in Abuja, in another development, now the Not Too Young to Run movement has given a 30-day ultimatum to President Muhammadu Buhari to assent to the constitutional amendment well ahead of Nigeria's 2019 general elections. The call was made at a press conference in Abuja and comes on the sidelines of the passage of the Not Too Young to Run bill, by 25 state houses of assembly.
The procedure, the
constitutional provision of Section 9, subsection 2, which stipulates that an amendment must be subjected to the approval of at least 24 state houses of assembly.
It's actually 30 days. If the president does not assent to a bill after 30 days, the National Assembly can actually veto the president. But we are putting this on record that considering the fact that we are in a national emergency, considering the fact that if the constitutional amendments and the electoral amendments are not concluded in the next couple of weeks, they could potentially undermine the integrity of the elections.
25 state houses of assembly have passed the bill, also known as the Age Reduction Bill, while it remains pending in 10 others, but it has been rejected by that of Taraba State.
The Taraba State House of Assembly into the Not Too Young to Run Hall of Shame. We're really disappointed with Taraba State, and we hope that they are the only state that would be our red state, the only state that would remain in the Hall of Shame, because we want the other states yet to vote in support of the bill. We want youth-friendly state houses of assembly.
This is a practical step towards harnessing the demographic dividend. The movement, therefore, appreciates the 25 out of 36 state houses of assembly that have so far passed the Not Too Young to Run bill. They have registered their names in the annals of history by passing the Not Too Young to Run bill.
We urge the state assemblies to, without further delay, transit the amendment to the National Assembly. We call on the National Assembly to transmit the constitutional amendment to President Muhammadu Buhari for assent as soon as the bill receives from the state assemblies.
Honorable Tony Nwolu, a member of Nigeria's House of Representatives, is the original sponsor of the bill.
A whole lot of young Nigerians championed his election, and this is about time he pays them back the way they also did. And looking forward to 2019, like they already said, it's now from me. Whichever candidates, whichever party that do not support the young people should not be voted.
The amendment as passed by the National and State Assemblies has reduced the age to run for president from 40 to 35, House of Representatives and State Houses of Assembly from 30 to 25 respectively, while the age for governor and the state Senate remains at the current age of 35. Moving on now, away from all of that. Now, a one-time senator representing Owerri Zone, Senatorial District of Imo State, Southeast Nigeria, has thrown in the towel for the 2019 Imo governorship race under the platform of the All Progressives Grand Alliance, APGA. Receiving him at the party's state secretariat, some residents say his decision is timely and it could not have come at a better time when the state is in dire need of good leadership.
It will take a humble man. It will take a man of God. It will take a man of conscience, right, one that represents all this.
Now, some party faithful bear their minds on the development.
Fine. This is the man we have been waiting for. To be a senator at the age of 36 years, I don't know how many Nigerians.
And has advised that he should move ahead and consult with the state. By so doing, he should get across to the state chairman, Barrister Peter Ezobi, who can now fix a date for him to come and do a formal declaration of his.
Others reacted to issues affecting the zone.
Or anybody here anoint, think about it. There will be no crisis. Fortunately, they have started talking among themselves to show that there will be synergy, you know.
And away from that, now to the Niger Delta region, where Governor of Bayelsa State, Seraki Dixon, has called on Bayelsans to embrace the state health insurance scheme as the reasons which it was established is for their benefit. He made the disclosure in Yenagoa, the state capital, during the commissioning of the Health Insurance, Information and Malaria Research Center as part of activities marking his 6th year anniversary. The inauguration, which brought together former ministers for information and political bigwigs from across the country, led to the call by the governor on the need to register for the health scheme.
Bayelsa, come and enroll in this health insurance program because it has been instituted for your benefit. These are what we meant when we said this is the year of the beginning of finishing well and finishing strong. And we still want to go on to consolidate on the restoration. So I'm also calling on the corporate players to show responsibility in this very critical area. I hope to be taking that up with all the oil companies that are working here and not paying their fair share of tax.
Now, the launch, which was done by the former Minister of Information and Orientation, Professor Jerry Ghana, and former Sokoto State Deputy Governor Mokhtar Shagari, saw them speaking on the importance of the project.
The truth will be told. Amen. The people will be set free. Amen. Our people will rise and grow. Amen. Bayelsa will be great. Amen. The people of Bayelsa will be greater. Amen. And therefore, this information house is a wonderful foundation for democracy.
This shows that the National Health Insurance Scheme is something that every government in this country must embrace, as has been exemplified by the governor and the people in the government of Bayelsa.
You're still watching the news coming to you from Galaxy Television. Business Reports is up next.
Welcome to Business Report. The Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, NAMASA, has said that the inability of successive governments in the country to put in place the much-needed policy framework and lack of investment, among other factors, are largely responsible for the non-harnessing and full utilization of Nigeria's vast blue economic potential to the benefit of our citizens. The blue economy, which is also called the economy of the seas and oceans, refer to the natural maritime endowment available to maritime nations such as vast coastlines, which promote water transportation, fisheries, aquatic life, oil and gas, and other mineral deposits beneath the seabed, which are not available to land-docked countries. Director General of the agency, Dr. Dakuku Peterside, who spoke at a one-day seminar organized by the agency in Lagos for maritime journalists Tuesday, also listed the lack of knowledge as one of the major factors inhibiting the utilization of the nation's vast but grossly untapped maritime resources.
With respect to the blue economy, it's an evolving concept, and so no one can know it all. All of us are scholars as far as the blue economy is concerned. It's evolving, and so today affords us an opportunity to enlighten our journalists and build capacity among them on the blue economy. The opportunities in the blue economy, the challenges we face trying to optimize the opportunities in the blue economy, and the things we're doing, the critical steps we're taking to ensure that our people benefit from the blue economy.
Speaking on the sustainable benefits of marine resources, Executive Director, Admin and Finance, NAMASA, Basha Jamo, said apart from all business, the maritime sector can drive the nation's economy and create employment.
All about increasing the sustainable benefits of use of marine resources. We have a lot of resources in the country that has to do with maritime industry. And what we are discussing now, if we say we don't have much to benefit from oil, where else we can go? And the next area we can go is the issue of maritime. And in that maritime, we look at the maritime resources. What are those resources? If you look around, fishing alone can be able to increase the economy. It can provide jobs opportunities. That is only if you go and depend on fishing alone.
We are not going to rest on our oars. We're going to take it to the next level. What we're trying to do is to remain focused on our mandate and ensure that many more Nigerians are involved in shipping. That shipping creates employment for our people, creates opportunities for our people, that our people benefit from shipping, and that shipping becomes a major contributor to economic growth of our country, especially at a time of recession when we're facing economic headwind.
The theme of the seminar was the role of journalists in developing the blue economy. Dakuku urged the government and media to work as a team in terms of budget allocation and relaying holistic and enlightening information about the potentials of the sector. Meanwhile, the Nigerian Senate has expressed concerns over the scarcity of lower naira denominations nationwide. The Senate stressed that the scarcity of 5, 10, 20, 50, 100 and 200 naira notes pose a severe threat to the economy of the country, which is just recovering from recession as it is worsening inflationary trends. Deliberation by the lawmakers on the floor of the upper chamber during Tuesday's plenary is sequel to a motion sponsored by Senator Peter Nwaoboshi, representing Delta North.
In the instant context, CBN may need to brace up to the ultimate option of introducing coins for the lower denomination as a more sustainable measure, since they have a longer shelf life than currency notes. Whereas all developed countries operate with coins, a developing country like Nigeria is not, even when there are glaring disadvantages from the absence of coins for routine transactions in the country.
A cross-section of senators examined the role of the National Security Printing and Minting Company as an option in printing the currency notes locally, as well as considered the reintroduction of coins.
We discovered that the saving culture we are trying to teach the generations has been thrown overboard. When I was small, if they send you on an errand, you take certain things, they will give you a little money. Your mother will have, there's a small pot with a small opening, we call it asusu. They will come and dip it inside. At a period of need, they will break it and you discover that there has been saving. We have thrown that one.
If a trader knows that if they are to give you change of 5 naira or 10 naira, that change will never be available, they will simply plan their prices to the next round figure. And that will, in the long term, drive up prices in the economy.
So I think when Central Bank talks about the cost of production of the polymer notes, I think that we have a competent and capable company in the printing and minting that can be able to do this production for this country. So I think it's important that the Senate takes this very serious, because the reason why these notes are the production is very expensive is because central banks print this money outside this country, when we have a very capable company that can do this production here.
On his part, the Deputy Senate President who presided the plenary says the overdependence on larger denominations is part of the main problem.
One of the issues that's affecting this idea of lack of lower denominations is the haste in which we introduce higher denominations in Africa. It's not just a Nigerian thing, because if you go to Ghana, you see denomination rising as much as 10,000 of the currency, and then CFA, which is the one they use within the French-speaking people of West Africa, have about 100,000 bill, and that spreads up to South Africa. So with that kind of level of higher denominations, it affects the production and acceptance of the lower denomination. So and that's the area I think we need to begin to look at.
Meanwhile, the Senate has referred the motion to its Committee on Banking, Insurance and other financial institutions to look into the matter and report back within 2 weeks.